Hey guys, welcome back. And now we're talking about blend shapes. Now keep in mind that the blend shapes that we're man, I hate that color. The blend shapes that we're doing for our characters is a combination of techniques. The blend shapes that I'm going to talk about right now is a deformer. Okay? So eventually we'll mix everything to achieve a blend shape. But just keep in mind what I just mentioned. Okay, so blend shapes. Um, blend shapes is like a little technique that you can use to deform a geometry and morph from one to the other. So, like for example, I'm gonna give this 300. Okay, maybe that's too much. 50. That's a lot. Okay. So I got this guy that looks like that, and I'm gonna delete the history. I'm gonna call this main main. Alright? Now I'm gonna make a duplicate. And the reason why I'm making a duplicate is because blend shapes require an original and a duplicate, and they have to be identical. That means they need to have exactly the same amount of vertices. So I'm gonna call this cool shape 1. I'm going to select the original again, duplicate it up, and now over to the side. I'm going to call this cool shape 2. I'm going to duplicate this guy, but this time, I'm going to come to component mode, and I'm going to move not the transform, but the component. I'm going to center pivot. I'm going to call this messed up guy. Alright? And I'm going to do another one. I'm going to duplicate it and move it over to the side. And on this one, I'm going to modify freeze transformations. Freeze transformations. I'm going to call this really messed up guy. Okay, so just to clarify and to keep everyone on the same ball here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little annotation for each one. So I'm going to call this cool guy 1. And I'm going to make another one here. I'm going to call this cool guy 2. And then I'm going to make another annotation here. I'm going to call this moved. I'm going to say I moved the vertices. Watch out. Watch out. And on this one, I'm going to say I froze the transformation. Watch out. Again. Alright, so as you can see, it's nice and explanatory. I'm just going to scale those locators. Just going to move this like that and change the background so you guys can see the sign. There we go. Alrighty, so all these guys are duplicates of the original. That's the first thing. Now, on this guy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab some vertices and move them up like that. And then I'm going to grab some vertices over here. I'm going to use the smooth modification brush and move them out like that. And I'm going to grab some vertices over here and I'm going to use, I guess, the smooth modification. So all I'm doing here is moving vertices. However, of course, if I wanted to achieve a shape, it would be a little complex. Now here, I'm going to move vertices, but this time I'm going to move the vertices with the Sculpt Polygon tool. I'm just going to come here to the Sculpt Polygon tool, and not the Smooth, because that's not really what I want to do. The Sculpt Polygon tool, there we go. And let me just bring in my little tool here. I'm going to use this little dabble thingy guy, so it's kind of cool looking. And I'm also going to use the Smooth. I'm going to smooth this, just give it more levels of smooth. Let's actually just flood it. Alrighty, so just back to this guy over here, and take this smooth level down. Since it's high poly, you can get that shape. There we go. Now on this guy, I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm just gonna select the vertex over here and just do like that. And on this guy, I'm gonna do the same thing, but over here, and I'm just gonna move it up like that. Alright, so what did we just do? We just deformed. I'm actually gonna make one more. I'm gonna duplicate this guy. I'm gonna put it over here. This is a cool guy. Alright, so I'm gonna call this cool guy via deformers. For example, if I created a joint, so I'm just gonna make a joint here and just press enter, and there we go, and another one over there, and let me just hide this thing because I don't know what I'm doing here. There we go. So this guy's over there, this guy's over there, and let's duplicate it one more time, and this guy's over there, and one more duplicate, and that one's back there. So I'm just gonna select those three joints. You select this guy, come to the formers, to skin, bind, smooth. So now if I move this guy, did I do this right? Yeah, there we go. So as you can see, each one has a certain level of control over that area. You can also paint weights to adjust. So I might as well talk about that really quick. There's different ways that you can paint weights. One of them is to select the geometry, go to skin, edit smooth skin, paint skin weights tool. And that's really annoying to have to say it every time and to try to remember where it is. So the best thing you can do is add it to a shelf, or just come into your animation menu and you'll see this little icon there. It's this guy right there. So just draw a little circle around it. Okay, so that guy, yes, that guy, or that guy. There we go. That guy over there. Okay, so if you have your mesh selected and you click on that guy, you can see that there's a black and white image, and if you want to change the properties of it, just double click this tool and that will open up the options, and you'll see it's joint 1, joint 2, joint 3, joint 4. So however you name the joints, you'll see them here, and you can see the level of influence because it's black and white. So you can always, I can select joint 1 and paint with value of 1, that means white, over here. What does that mean? That means that this area is being deformed by that joint. Like if I move those guys, these guys are being deformed by that joint. I hope that makes sense. My bad, this guy. So you can see that wherever I painted, that's being influenced by this joint, and it's no longer influenced by the other joints. Alrighty, so all this is because you can make a blend shape. And how do you make a blend shape? You make a blend shape by going to, again on the animation menu, create deformers, blend shape. And what you do is you select an object or a group of objects, and depending on the order of your selection, that's how it's going to be displayed. And the last one, or the last one you select, is the original. And then you go and you create deformers, blend shape. Let me just reset my settings, make sure it's nice and default. And it says no deformable object selected because I probably messed up. Oh yeah, I messed up with this guy. What I need to do here is duplicate him because he's got history on him. So just duplicate him, select all the channels, right click, unlock. Now I can move it. I'm just gonna move it over there. There we go. So select that guy, this guy, that guy, and that guy, and the last one's the original, create. Okay. Maybe it's this guy's. Oh, that one's working. Delete their history, shift select that one, create. There we go. Yeah, it's because I had those annotations, so it was like, oh, I don't know what to do. Okay, so now the blend shape's created, and you can see it right here under inputs. There's a blend shape 1, and the names of the blend shapes are based on how I named those guys. But you can actually get a little slider. If you go to Window, Animation Editors, Blend Shape, you'll see your sliders there. And what do these sliders do? Well, they allow for this guy to look like Cool Guy 1, which is the one that was done via joints, or like Cool Shape 1, which is the first one that we made right there, or Cool Shape 2, which is the one that we made right there. But you can see that, you know, it's all happening on him. Now, what happens with the messed up? Remember what we did here? What we did here was we selected the vertices and we move them over there. Well, look at what happened with the blend shape now. It goes to that location. So that's a messed up way of doing it. That's why you don't want to move the vertices, you want to move the object, okay? And on this one we froze the transformations. And guess what happens? Same thing. Right? So you don't want to freeze transformations, and you don't want to move the vertices all the way out there. That way it's all happening locally. So anyway, that's pretty much how you create a blend shape. So you can end up doing that. And one last thing is, if you want to make your file size a little bit smaller, you can delete these guys, as long as you do not delete the history. That's why delete the history before you make blend shapes. Okay, delete history before blend shapes, because this is rigging. If you delete the history after you do this, then you're gonna lose the blend shape. But see, it's all happening. No geometry there, but it's all in history. If I delete the history, edit delete by type history, then no more blend shapes. Right? So that's why you don't delete the thingy. Alrighty. So this is the foundation, so that you can pretty much do the character. It takes a little bit of rigging. Excuse me. But that's it. So I'm gonna keep it here, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.